story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes.
You're listening to Aviation Marketing Hangar Flying, the community for the best sales and marketing professionals in the aviation industry. Your hosts, John and Paula Williams, are your sales and marketing test pilots. They take the risks for you and share strategies, relevant examples, hacks, and how-tos. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes so you won't miss a thing.
Welcome to Aviation Marketing Hangar Flying, episode number 18, Infiltrating Large Organizations. Now, this sounds very like espionage or whatever, but in aviation in particular, there are a lot of very large organizations that are involved with some of the products and services that we sell. And some of our clients sell to large organizations and find themselves faced with what looks like a monolith. You've got these big organizations that have committees that make decisions and other kinds of things, and this can really mess up your sales cycle because it really adds a lot of time and complexity to the sales cycle. So today we're going to talk about some of the ways to make that easier. So I'm Paula Williams.
And I'm John Williams.
And we are ABCI, and ABCI's mission is
to help all you ladies and gentlemen out there sell more aviation products and services.
Absolutely. So size matters in transactions, and the reason that it matters is because the larger the transaction is, the slower the sales process tends to go. With a lot of our clients, we often advise that they have a smaller product or service that they sell in addition to a larger product or service that they sell, because this whale hunting can be really difficult. It can really mess up your cash flow. It can really be disruptive of your payroll and everything else when you are depending on some really, really large transactions. It's kind of like commercial real estate, where one transaction a year can make or break your year or your budget. So that's not a reason not to do these large transactions, but it certainly is a reason to mitigate that as much as we can.
And set expectations for you or sales staff appropriately.
Exactly. And don't think you're going to go in and take on a very large organization and have the same sales process and the same velocity that you've had with smaller organizations. So the more people you have sitting around a table in a meeting, the longer the meeting's going to take. And the same thing is true of the sales cycle. The more parties that are involved with the sales decision, the longer that is going to take. So in some cases, we actually have one example with a client where we had to influence and actually win over 12
all these people,
separate people. And if you draw out an org chart, you've got people you've got the general manager at the top of the heap, but let's say the first person that found us was a project manager who's in charge of a small project or a medium-sized project, and he has to sell this idea to his manager. They also have to sell this whole idea within the safety department, the project control department, the procurement department, the engineering department, and the QA/QC department.
And so forth.
And so forth. And several individuals within each of those departments has to sign off on this purchase. So how the heck are we going to convince 12 different people, all of whom have very different agendas and motivations to buy this product?
With great vigor.
With great vigor. Exactly. So the first thing that we need to do is make a hero out of the person who invited us to the party. We want to make him look good. We need to find out what his motivations are. Obviously, this project manager who invited us to demonstrate our product or service has a very strong reason to want our product or service because it's going to help him do his project. And so, he's going to sell us to his boss, and we want to do everything we possibly can to make this person look good, make it look like he's making a wise decision. And we also want to give as much credit to him on, any of the collaborative materials or any of the other things that we can to give him a motivation to introduce this to other people, because he's going to develop a rapport and a level of trust with us that we are not going to make him look bad in front of any of his colleagues. We're not going to make him look risky in front of the safety committee. We're not going to make him look shoddy in front of the QA committee. All of those things we have to take into account and make that person the hero of the story, right?
Of course, and on my consulting career, I always told people that if things went well, they were responsible. If things went to hell, it was my problem, because I was a consultant. I mean, they lived there, I didn't. I was there temporarily.
Exactly. And as a consultant, we have that obligation. And as a salesperson, you also have that obligation to make people
out to be the hero.
And give them as much credit as you possibly can for anything that goes well. All right, so we use LinkedIn a lot in this process. It's actually a pretty good way of finding out, especially in a large organization, who all is connected to who and how we can use our situation to expand our network into that organization. So, let's say in this example, I'm looking at a Boeing LinkedIn page, and I can see how I'm connected to the people within Boeing. And I may have 2 first-degree connections, and then 1,869 second-degree connections, and 91,000 total employees on LinkedIn. So what I can do is I can look at the 2 that I know or that I'm connected to, and I can see who they are connected to. And kind of carry it out from there, and just see what their titles are, see what, where they fit in the organization, do some research on them, so then I can, next time I talk with this particular person or this project manager that I'm talking to, I can see who his boss is, I can see where he went to school, I can see what groups he's connected to, I can see different ways to maybe influence the situation on my behalf and on behalf of our project manager who brought us in, right?
Of course.
Okay. Another thing that I can do is I can search by relationship within LinkedIn. So I can search for second-degree connections and see, okay, I've got 4 of those. And then where do I want to search for those? Do I want to search just in the United States, just in the Seattle area? If we're talking about Boeing in our example, there's going to be a lot of people in Seattle. Or are they going to be closer to our location in Salt Lake City? Is there anyone closer to me that I could talk with? And, that might save on some travel costs and things if there is a local office. So there's lots of ways that you can use LinkedIn to find out who do I really need to get to know, and how are they connected to the people that I don't know yet. Make sense so far?
You're the doctor. Keep going.
All right. Okay. So another thing that we can do is Google Alerts. Let's say we are looking for information on the Boeing 777, because that has something to do with a project that we're working on. We're developing a product, or a client is developing a product for the Boeing 777. So I can set up a Google Alert to be sent to me as often as I want. In this instance, I'm going to set it for once a day. I want it to be automatic. I want it to be only English language materials, because I'm not that good at, French or anything else. Any region, and only the best results. And I want it to be delivered to my inbox in my email. So I can set this up in Google Alerts so that I will be notified whenever something happens that has to do with the Boeing 777. That way, whenever I'm talking with a contact at Boeing, I have a clue. Clue is good. It's good to have a clue. It's, that way I'm not behind on the news. I'm not wasting a lot of time reading a lot of things that are not relevant to my project, but I have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And then when something happens that's relevant to the product or service that I sell, I can send an email or make a phone call and say, I saw this in the news this morning. This is how this would affect the situation that we're working on. So that's a good thing to do when you're working with a large organization, especially. You want to make sure that you are up on the news because they're in the news all the time. Cool. So all of this fits into phase 2 of long cycle marketing. We've already made our prospecting situation, getting in touch with somebody within the organization. We may use social media to connect with more people and to expand our network. As we meet those people, we may want to send more information packages. There's no reason not to send even 10 or more information packages into a large organization, just so that everybody knows who this company is and what they do and why they're talking to us. And start sending your newsletters and other things to those folks. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out and making an introductory call and saying, "Hi, my name's Paula Williams. I work with ABCI, and I understand we're working with you on, I'm working with this individual on this project. I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know, if you have any questions about marketing, that's what we're here for. So here's my contact information, and I'm at your service." So that sort of thing can really help you expand your network into a large organization. So those printed and mailed newsletters, you can send those to as many people in the organization as you want to, connect with them on social media, send them direct mail, and eventually that will add up to hopefully some requested formal sales presentations down the road, right?
Absolutely. We've seen it.
We have seen it. And we don't work with very many super large organizations because of the time involved and the time in the sales cycle, but a lot of our clients do. So, if you're in that situation, there are lots of ways to really infiltrate and make that network larger. So that is, those are some ideas on how to use some of the tools you have to make that happen. All right, so download our tip sheet, which is about qualifying prospects. The 3 items that we talked about in qualifying prospects are interest, resources, and authority. You want to make sure that people have all 3 of those things, and we have a tip sheet that helps you check off some of those items and find ways to make that easier, and you'll want to do that even within large organizations as well.
You didn't say where the URL was for the tip sheet.
I didn't. That's terrible. So the URL for the tip sheet is aviationbusinessconsultants.com/qualifying. So once again, aviationbusinessconsultants.com/qualifying. So go ahead and download that tip sheet, and you'll have some great information on how to make that happen and not waste time on unqualified people like we have. So go ahead and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and please do leave us a review. It is a fairly new podcast, and we love to hear what you like, what you don't like, and what we'd like to hear more of. Thank you for joining us, and have a great week.
And we'll see you next time.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can have all you ever you could.